Hey everyone, Professor Kai's here with your Module 2 recap. First, let me apologize about the quiz. I know a lot of you had questions about that. I have regraded it and accounted for if you didn't have a comma in the right place or a dollar sign in the right place. Blackboard is very specific and won't let me do a general answer there. So I have updated all those. If you still feel there's an error, now would be a good time to reach out to me. As far as the discussion for week 2, it's all about lending. I find lending fascinating. Did do that a decent portion of my career before switching to teaching, and it's a very nuanced and individual process. Each bank, each credit union, each lending institution can do what they want to do. But a few things that stand out, of course, our credit score. That's the first thing they always want to know. What's your credit score? What's your credit score? What's your credit score? Which is really interesting because, frankly, credit score tells us nothing about your current ability to pay back the loan. Obviously, it gives us some good history on how often you've paid off your credit on time, maybe what the balances are on your credit card, and it is the determining factor almost 100% on the interest rate that you're going to get. One big reason behind that is it's definitive and allows the creditor to not have any discrimination or flexibility in their pricing. No one can say that person got a 6.5% rate and I got a 6.8% rate. And that's not fair, because the bank will just come back and say there was their credit score, there was their rate. We don't deviate from that plan. So that being said, it is still a very thorough and nuanced process. And what are you going to look at? What is your debt ratio? How many payments do you have to make every month based on your income? That's a huge important factor in whether or not we can afford the loan. Another thing they love to look at is what's the value of the asset you're financing compared to how much you're going to borrow. So let's say you want to buy a $200,000 house and you want to put $100,000 down. Almost every bank that I can think of, unless there are some ridiculous circumstances, are going to be willing to make that loan. You are giving 50% of the value of the property as a form of a down payment. So there's very little risk to the bank that you're going to walk away from that. And even if you do walk away from it, the very little risk that they can't get their $100,000 back, which was all they loaned you. So those are a couple of the big things. And then, of course, they're using your credit score and your credit history to determine if they think you'll pay them back. Of course, we don't want to loan money to someone we don't think is going to pay us back. Things happen, people don't pay back loans, people become unemployed, people become sick. Those are things that happen, and the banks account for that. That's why they charge you interest. You know, the whole risk versus return idea is very clear and very obvious in lending. The banks know as large numbers what percentage of people are going to default on their loan, and therefore they build in that risk into the rates. So basically what you needed to come up with this week was some sort of plan about what you would do if you were loaning someone money, and hopefully it included at least a couple of those factors. Hope you guys have a great week, and I'll see you next week.